evident hill on any part of that route that we were driving.
No, it looked and felt very flat. Very flat. Thanks so much, Cody. All right, let's bring back in our guest, criminal defense attorney who's been following this case, Margaret McLean, and private investigator Lauren Vellucci. All right, Lauren, did John and Karen drive up a hill?
Yeah, no, they didn't. And let's remember that we have John's health data and we also have Karen's health data, which showed no stairs climbed. There is not a hill on that street. I feel like it's disingenuous for the prosecutor to even put this forth and for Ian Whiffen to say that. I mean, come on. Anyone in the area knows there's no hill. I've had friends up there and they have tried what you and Cody did, not as smoothly as you guys did. You guys did great. But they actually waved their phone in the air and no stairs were registered, stepped or climbed. So no, they didn't go up a hill.
Yeah, and I was holding it kind of like, you know, if I'm looking and I would look at it kind of, you're following directions, because I think when they were driving, I think the Waze was on John O'Keefe's phone, and he was kind of giving directions to Karen to how to get to this home. Margaret, did they drive up a hill?
You know, I can't say whether they did or not, but I will say that Apple Health can be misleading. So
wait. So don't trust the data?
Well, I would say Apple Health in particular, I believe that you know, after they found him, right, after he was, you know, pronounced dead at the hospital, and I can double check this, but I believe Apple Health data had him taking steps at that point. But I guess the point is the location data doesn't show. Where would he be? Like, so the 36 steps. So you're suggesting that he's inside the house taking 36 steps inside the house, but the location data never shows him inside the house. So I just don't trust. Yeah, I know.
Where does the flight climb come from, though? Because to me, that's the question. Yeah. If they're not driving up a hill, or where do you think it came from? Because it's there. They gave their explanation. The jury may or may not accept it, but what do we think the truth is on where the flight climbs came from?
I would say it came from going up the hill, even though it didn't register for you two. I do believe Ian Whiffen, but to me, in the scheme of things, whether he went up the hill and climbed a flight of stairs at that point in time, to me, that's not that important. To me, when I'm looking at that tech data, you know, the data stream from the Lexus that was matched up to the phone, and you have the location data, which just does not show him in the house. That phone never entered the house. So to me, that 36 steps is neither here nor there. I'm sorry, the climbing the hill is neither here nor there, because I don't think that Apple Health data is that reliable for that.
Well, you know, and every timeline we're looking at right now is the prosecution timeline, right? The defense case hasn't gotten there yet. I'm wondering, Lauren, if there's going to be a drastic alternative timeline here put forth by the defense in this case. I think that might be a possibility, maybe not overall, but in the interpretation of some of the data. To me, that's what I'm waiting to hear, perhaps, from the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we already saw a little bit of that even in the Commonwealth's case in chief. They just were allowed to change their timeline to make it not quite as big of a difference to what they're stating that the defense is going to show. So they've already kind of, put some Band-Aids on that and tried to change the timeline that is going to be showed by the defense. But I also have to push back a little bit on Margaret, because Ian Whiffen's report, there was that big circle, and that was in the house. It was towards the whole back of the house. So it is possible. And even Ian Whiffen couldn't say, right, yeah, you're showing it now. Even Ian Whiffen couldn't state that it was not possible that the phone was not in the house. So it clearly shows it in his circle.
Small circle, okay. Big circle. We're out of time for this segment, but don't go anywhere. Up next, why didn't anyone see John O'Keefe's body?